So I've got this Porsche body out, the state-of-the-art stripping device, to show you a state-of-the-art technique. Neither the stripping device nor the technique are state-of-the-art. So this is most of real toy Porsche Panamera, real toy, around in the early 2000s, I think. They tended to be quite fancy with the details, could be a bit fragile, especially the glass, etc. I come across lots of them looking bedraggled, and this is one that I took apart a few weeks ago. Got as far as sorting the glass out because that was a bit cracked, and pinched its wheels, and then kind of forgot about it. So this is like a resurrection and continuation for this car. Plus, it's a perfect opportunity to show you a finishing technique that I use. You can see all the usuals happening here: the metal toothbrush and our old friends, the scalpel blade, and all the wire wool, all the usual suspects. They'll be coming out to get this body ready. And this is one that we'll be taking right to the sort of mirror polishing stage, because that's part of this. That's part of what I'm going to show you. So it's bordering on the edges of the transparent colour sprayed over the chrome. It does give a very nice effect. Corgi used to do it in the 60s, 70s. Used to call them Corgi rockets. It's more commonly known as the Spectra Flame by Hot Wheels. The old red lines from the 60s. They were always in a transparent, see-through version of whatever the colour was, just straight over the bare metal. It looked great. I don't know why they don't do it anymore. Well, they do. They've brought it back for those really expensive red line club things. They're usually Spectra Flame. That's usually their big selling point. But what we're doing here, it's not a colour as such. It's more a similar effect, but with like a grey. Hot Wheels used to call it. I think they used to call it black chrome. I guess that's a pretty good thing to call it, really. You could call it gunmetal effect if you wanted, or it's chrome. It's the chrome effect that we did before with the last video, but dark, just dark, almost, well, grey, almost bordering on black, but still chrome, if that makes sense. It's a very nice effect, and the way I'm going to do it here, new product demonstration as well. We've got some new sanders, little sanding pad. They're not pads, they're like little sanding boards. They're almost like very thick emery boards, but they've got a little bit of give to them. So there's a 1500 grit, a 3000 grit, and then 2000 grit, and all those three with the price of one sanding pad. They're good, and I like them, and I'll get them again, just to give you a bit of a spoiler. But they're not. There's a reason why you get three of them for the same price as one Tamiya sanding pad. They're not the same thing. They're not. Well, they are the same thing. They're just not as good. They're not quite as good. They are good. I'm doing them a disservice, really, because I was really impressed. I mean, look how much it's taken off. I've been at it about 30 seconds with the highest grade one, and just look how shiny, and it almost looks like pure silver, that metal, after just that. And see how much metal it's taken off. That's metal it's taken off the body, and they're just flexible enough to get into little corners and like curves, compound curve edges like that. So sort of ignore what I said. I'm really impressed with them. They're great. They're not quite as good as the Tamiya pads, but they're not going to be. They're a third of the price. But they're definitely, as you can see, they work very well with the Tamiya sanding pads. They're definitely worth adding to the team, so to speak. So yeah, the black chrome effect. I mean, usually when there are various ways of doing Spectra Flame. You can even do it manually by hand if you want. The preferred method is airbrush. Now, with airbrushes, I appreciate that there are some. I have one, and it gets used sometimes. I do appreciate that there are certain things that you can only really do with an airbrush. there's no real... If you want to have access to the full range of colours and different effects that you can do on these car bodies, there's no real way of avoiding having an airbrush somewhere in your in your box. But because there would be certain colours like crazy, like magenta colours and things like that they'd just be kind of out of reach if you didn't have an airbrush, or you'd have to pay a lot of money for aerosols of them. Having said that, yeah, the airbrush is inevitable, and sometimes there's no option but to get it out. I do like to try and avoid getting it out as much as possible, and there are other ways of doing spectral flame type effects, and this is one of the easiest. And in terms of how easy it is to actually do it and the result that it yields, it's that sort of ratio. This is one of the best. It's one of the best tricks I've got in my bag, really. So yeah, those new sanding boards, they really have made mincemeat of this. They've had a little bit of help from one of the bigger pads, but they've done most of this on their own. Look at that. So yeah, they are really good. So it's important to get this body absolutely mirror smooth, just like we did with the coronet in the last video. We want this to be able to. You need to be able to see reflections of things. So you can see we're not quite there yet, but we're getting there. And considering this is pretty much real time, it's taken us 6 minutes to get from like the sort of oxidised, bedraggled looking shell that I got out of the stripping device, as I seem to want to call it, to get to this point where we're on one of those really old pads now. That's like the however many thousand grit that I seem to think it is. I don't know how many thousand grit it really is, but it's probably somewhere between 5,000 and 10,000. But that's like the last stage. That's just going to get it look to that. So we're outside. And here we go. This is what we're going to spray on it. So it's for tinting tail lights on real cars. Now there's different manufacturers of this stuff. There's all different types of it you can get. It's called black. So technically, what we're doing here is transparent black, if there could be such a thing. So here's the body. Now the painting technique with this is just quick, gentle bursts like that. So we've got set up outside now, so you can see what I'm actually doing properly. But don't do like continuous sort of passes where you're kind of putting loads of the stuff on the thing. Just quick short bursts like that. It doesn't look that great as it's still wet, but trust me, it does dry really nicely. So it's designed for tail lights of real cars. So you know it's going to stand up to the outside world. So it's definitely durable enough to for a model. And the thing about this stuff, I don't really know if it's a paint or a lacquer. I know when I say lacquer, if you're in the US, you'll call that clear coat. I'm not really sure whether this is a paint or a lacquer. It certainly seems to contain its own lacquer or clear coat. You do not need, in fact, you mustn't put any clear coat or lacquer on this afterwards. That's the window unit that I did earlier. We won't go into how I did that because I'll be doing a video on that at some point. There's not a lot of point in just telling you how I did it when it was done weeks ago. So that's the shine that you get. That's what you end up with. Now this is 24 hours later. No, it's not. It's probably about 12 hours later. You've got to leave it for a good 12 hours because it'll be sticky to the touch. And if you start trying to handle it like an hour after you've painted it or something, you'll ruin it. And like I said, do not lacquer or clear coat it at all. It's got its own lacquer built in. This is all you need to do. It's done. It's finished. You don't polish it or anything. So that's it. Just a fairly simple mirror polishing job on the body, and then just take it outside for a few blasts of that stuff, and that's it. You've done it. So we can put it back together now, and then we remember that I used its wheels on something else. So it's just like that for now. But we'll come back to it. We'll be seeing this again in other videos. when it gains, I'll probably end up making some wheels for it, and then we'll have to put some of those details back, the headlights and things like that. But that's the effect. The reason I've shot some of this at night is because you can see it does look better in under lighting rather than natural light. But yeah, probably the work of about 10 minutes gets you that. So yeah, it's an especially good trick if you don't want to use an airbrush, and I wouldn't blame you. They're not the easiest things in the world to wrangle. That's a darker variant. Well, it's not a darker variant. It's exactly the same stuff, but I just put twice as much on. So we've got a bit of a line up here going from light to dark. So the Mondeo is almost black. I just put some more on it, and the lighter ones are just ones where I stopped earlier. So just showing you a few of the different things. So yeah, hope you like that. Oh, I forgot to mention it's cheap too. About £10 gets you enough to do about 30 cars, so that's always something. Anyway, thanks. See you next time.